Welcome to the Conversion Show. Today we have our special guest, John Gillie, along with his counterpart, Allan Anastacio, who heads up sales, operations, everything, which we'll get into today because we'd love to find out how our retailers actually operate behind the walls. Um, but special guest because we have a Justuno customer here with hands-on experience. And so in the retail world, trucktractortrailer.com, hop on LinkedIn. You can find both John and Allan on there. Check out their backgrounds. But welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you, Erik. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
So we were just rapping about this industry of truck, tractor, trailer.
Yeah.
And how engaged you are with your own audience and customers, leveraging your email list of 250,000 to share out not just sales stuff, but more of your podcast and content. Um, Today, looking at what campaigns you're currently running, which is a lot of engagement with your visitors. Um, Allan, you mentioned earlier what brought you to Justune. I'd love to hear a little bit more again of, what initially you were hoping to achieve, and most importantly, where are we today? You
Yeah.
know,
No.
what goals and focus are you two working on to grow your business?
Yeah. No, that's a great question, Erik. And I think it's really important for us to really understand our platform and understand really what our goal is on there. We are a SaaS-based e-commerce platform, a marketplace for buyers and sellers, but we really call ourselves more of a community. And for us, our main goal is really to connect those buyers and sellers. But as you were talking about before, how there's a lot of new technology out in the marketplace. There's a lot of technology on the trucks. There's a lot of data that you can, you can put IoT, so you can get some fuel data, kind of other data that's critical to running a fleet operation. So there's a lot of tech out there, but I think there's one thing that has been missing for the better part of the trucking industry is, and everyone knows is, buying and selling a truck is still very archaic, and that's something in terms of the shift where it's heading towards. And we have to give some credit, due to some factors, just like the pandemic, right? To be able to really kind of increase the adoption of these, because in automotive, it's pretty common, for us to go online, search onto a website and buy a, $5,000 to $30,000 truck, used car or new car. In the trucking industry, the equipment is a little bit more complex, right? In terms of, the not only the value, but also certain operations in terms of the specifications. So it was always, hey, I'm going to go to a dealership. That's my dealership I've been using for the past 30 years. And it's always a face to face. Now, because of, how businesses run and then the shortage, our platform really helps create that community where a buyer can come onto there, understand they are within a platform that provides them everything from the ability to finance, get it insured, get it inspected, paid for, and delivered wherever they are. And for us, in order for us to really have those conversions happen, right, onto our site, it was really all about how are we going to engage these early adopters, to be comfortable to make offers onto our site or search our site, especially, of course, we were a new startup, right? And, something like trucktractortrailer.com, it is really in the forefront of pushing this type of equipment sale, but between buyers and sellers, all in one place, if that makes sense. So, really it's all about, us wanting that initial, let's start engaging our audience. Let's start, engaging and pushing them to the right sources, and kind of actions that we'd like for them to accomplish, in terms of understanding kind of what TTT is. Fast forward to this day, we've had the the website for a handful of years now. So we've gotten and built that audience base that John was mentioning. Now a lot of that is really refining our campaigns and adjusting to our different types of buyers, audiences, and also as John mentioned earlier, we have a lot of different new product features on our platform, such as jobs. So our audience base is growing. So that type of conversion engagement also needs to grow. So I hope that kind of gives you a little bit of clarity.
I have some great notes here.
Can I just piggyback off on what Allan was saying?
Yeah, John.
Yeah, I mean, this is we founded this in late 2016. Took me about 2 years to raise money, build the product, and really more importantly than just build a product, but we took our time to build a platform and a product that people wanted to use, and then also wanted to use to help solve their problems, either on the sell side or buy side. And once we started to get close on minimal viable product, then we had to test that product. So what we learned is that it took quite a long time to really crack the code on driving traffic into the product we built to properly test and validate. Where we are today, here we are in 2024. We're moving really from startup mode to scaling. We'll 4x sales this year over prior year, and we plan to 4x again next year, and probably 2.5x x revenue in 25 to 26. So we're in scale mode right now, and as we got things right on the product, whether it's buy, sell, or jobs or news, now it's about conversion. And this is where Justuno comes in and our utilization of your service. Allan's correct. Allan brought it in 4 years ago. He said, listen, we have to have this. We have to have your service. Quite frankly, we didn't do a very good job utilizing it. But now that we're in scale mode, now that we have the traffic coming in, we had to top grade our services and our partnerships to be able to really engage those new visitors, those new registered users. So also, too, just to clarify what Allan was saying, he's right. Consumer trucking is about 7 years behind consumer auto, right? Consumer auto is about 7 years ahead of commercial trucking, not only in technology as far as clean fuels and automation or automated driving, autonomous. And also the conversion to electric or hydrogen or any other clean fuels, but really in the buying and selling of used assets. So we, to be inspired by the market, all we have to do simply is look at what Carvana is doing.
And I've written Carvana down twice in my notes here.
Yeah. So people right away analogize and put us in the Carvana bucket, which is very flattering. We are the exception, really, I think, to Carvana. The number one, that's consumer auto. But if you're listening, Ernie Garcia, if you want to pay $100 million for us, I would definitely crack that deal today. And Ernie Garcia Jr. and Senior are both the founders and CEO. It's a public company today, but Ernie Garcia Jr. is the CEO. So Ernie, if you're listening, we'll accept your offer. But really, we don't own the asset. Our sellers own the asset. We're brought in to really facilitate that trade, whether it's them using our self-service tools that we've built, and clearly they can list their own assets for sale. They can field their own offers because our buyers are well trained and well versed to place offers on our site. And we've built a negotiation tool to allow buyers and sellers to deal directly. Now we are observing this, we're facilitating it. Some say we favor the buyers, other people say we're in favor of the sellers. Quite honestly, the buyers and sellers, and 99.99% of the time arrive at a win-win. And we're just here trying to create the platform for them to do that. So we don't own the asset. And that's one of the distinctive differences between us and Carvana. That said, everything else we can do.
So let's talk about sales.
Yeah.
Conversion. Where are we today with Justuno, with conversion as a whole? We've seen customer acquisition costs increase. We've seen finally a focus on the on-site experience as a key aspect to our business and sustainable growth and scaling. Congratulations on driving the traffic. That's huge. The community aspect I love. We built a Sierra Snowboard based off of a community of snowboarders, people that were passionate about something. The questions, keywords are being used: audience, segment, campaigns, buyers, conversion. One analogy we're using right now is this concept of digital marketers have figured out the offsite marketing component. We know how to build segments. We know how to build campaigns. We know how to build automation to drive to speak to those segments with personalized messaging. We are now introducing that to the on-site experience. So is what I hear from you when you talk about your segments coming to your website, it sounds like you have a buyer visitor, someone who's looking to sell, and someone who's coming to do some research, potentially. You have the new jobs section.
Well, in the jobs section, there might be large carriers or fleets looking for new drivers, looking for technicians, looking for salespeople, management. But on the other side, because our jobs portal is also two-sided, you have employers and you have job seekers, right? But it's within the trucking community, right? So one good thing is we focused on a segment, the trucking community, trucking, transportation, logistics. That's a great thing to really focus. The challenging thing is that it's transportation, trucking, logistics. Those SIC code, that industry segment is 24% of the world's gross domestic product. So the market is absolutely enormous. So we are constantly struggling to filter and gate to get at a manageable view within that enormous market. And even a small percentage of that big number is still a big number, right? So conversion and having automation and tools is not just important, it's essential. It's essential to us. If not, as a 100% digital e-commerce platform, there's no way else we can't survive, because the market size and the activity is so large. Because what you're doing, you're taking a business that is traditional brick and mortar, been in business over 100 years, one of the largest businesses in the United States, the trucking industry. It's about 1/10 the size of the consumer automotive business, but still a very, very large market, addressable market. But it's tough because there's so much opportunity. So you really have to narrow your focus down and pick partners like you guys to help us convert and really get to those ideal customers, buyers or sellers.
So let's talk metrics. We'll get back to the personas, because what I'm thinking is when someone comes to your site, I initially want to ask them that question: are you a buyer or seller, or interested in jobs? And when they click that button, we can save that data to the profile, so that next time they visit, or you can then email them to certain segments when you're doing that. We recognize that when it comes to email marketing and SMS marketing, And Klaviyo just announced their top 4 workflows that are most successful, and number 1 being their cart abandonment workflow.
Yeah.
That's going to be more for more traditional retailers, as yours more of the SaaS marketplace. But the whole point of everything is that what's the 80-20 rule, as I'm sure you're well aware of, John, in business. It's like, where's the low hanging fruit?
Yeah.
When I'm looking, at your domain, trucktractortrailer.com, TTT, as you like to be called in the industry. If we're going to get that 4X, where's the low hanging fruit? What segments are those, and are they being spoken? Are we talking to them when they arrive on the site?
Allan, that's a great one for you, because you handle our enterprise level customers.
Yeah. I think, for us, definitely, as we say is, on our flywheel is our subscription and listing to our dealers. That's our bread and butter right there. That's our low hanging fruit. That's really where a lot of the market, a lot of people know that the used trucking market is about 60 to 70% of the trucking market. So a lot more used being sold than new being bought. So for us, it's all about getting our buyers, our audience, to the website, and then converting them to either self-serve and list their units, or speak with someone on the team to get them on a dealer subscription, or depending on location, number of lots, etc.
So if I go to buy and how to buy, is that what's being described to me?
Let's say how to sell.
They had to sell. So 60 to 70% of your website traffic or business sales comes from dealers that are coming on to list their inventory. If I understand correctly?
So we're just saying the 60 to 70% is saying that the used trucking market, in terms of unit selling, in terms of sales, is larger than the new truck market.
Got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our platform, as we were mentioning, is really to attract a lot of those individual owner operators, fleets, and dealers to list their equipment for sale.
And also, Erik, I think that it's important to note that where we've been and where we are today is not where the market's going. So when we started TTT, built the platform, we thought there would be faster, quicker adoption. And this is like back in 2018, 2019 when we started. But we really had to wait post COVID for people to really embrace Zoom, doing a business online. Amazon itself just, doubled since, before COVID. I think a lot of your e-commerce platforms, while people were shopping online, they weren't buying online. We're starting to see the early green shoots of that conversion, where people are actually coming in, making more offers, doing business online. But full disclosure here, there's a lot of, we use our platform now to attract deals, but a lot of those deals, I think to your point earlier, you said offsite. A lot of the deals are transacted offsite. Now, in a future state, let's say 2 years, 3 years out, with AI, ChatGPT, other conversion tools and UX tools to really heighten the buying and selling experience, and also market familiarity and comfort in doing business online for a used asset, you're going to see it's going to be a spike north. It's going to be a hockey stick growth, we feel, in conversion. But right now, where we are, if we're asking your customer base, your following and my following here, to go visit trucktractortrailer.com, they may be underwhelmed with the user experience, in comparison to, let's say, others that are available maybe on a Shopify platform or Amazon or Walmart.com or some of the niche market sites, traditional retail. However, in the commercial trucking site, Alan said it earlier, we're pretty unique and special, so we're out ahead of it. But in compared to the rest of the e-commerce market, an outsider coming in may feel like we are behind, and in fact, they'd be right. So, I don't want to mislead the viewer that we're so far out ahead. We're really not. In the trucking world, we are. We're slightly ahead of the competition, but we do feel things will start to accelerate this point forward.
Well, and as I click through your site here, I'm trying to ask the questions. How can we convert more of your visitors to help achieve that 4x? And when I imagine your top two categories, if I hear you correctly, that more people are coming to list than buy on your site.
I know it's actually a 10-to-1 ratio.
10 to 1. Okay.
10-to-1 ratio. So we it is fascinating to me that we did a lot of studying of the market, and we picked a number that we need 10 buyers for every one seller. And we had this aspirational goal of doing it. And today, here we are 6 years in, we have about a 10-to-1 ratio. It's pretty amazing that we actually achieved it. But I think it's less about us and more about what is available in the market. There's actually 10 buyers for every one truck. It's pretty interesting. So, but I think also important to know is that the reason you need 10 buyers for every one seller is people that traditionally buy a used truck that's 3 years old, has 300,000 miles on it, probably buy one truck a year, one new used truck a year, or one every 3 years. A seller is coming from the seller of that same 3-year-old truck is probably coming off a major fleet or carrier or a mid-sized fleet that traditionally buys new. And then once that unit comes off lease or it starts to age out, that is, let's say, a 3-year truck, and there's still great value and there's still an OEM warranty and there's a lot of life left in that truck, that's when they're going to sell it and then backfill with a new truck. So that's where the ratio comes.
Okay. This is great because this is us trying to understand the profiles of your visitors, the segments. And, if we're able to start looking at your website data and seeing, if that's the case, when we go to the site, theoretically, the buy, /buy page probably is one of your highest trafficked pages.
Yeah.
Also one of your highest exited pages.
Yes.
That is an opportunity when someone's exiting that page, we ask them, what did you not find today?
Right.
We start engaging, creating a customer experience around that specific segment to further move them down the funnel.
Yes.
And, when it comes to traditional retailers, we, just like the email marketing space, they have their cart abandonment emails where they make the most money. We have our foundational workflows for conversion, which are cart abandonment workflow. Everyone exiting a website that has an item in their cart, we speak to them differently. Someone who here's the next one. When they come back to the website, we acknowledge, hey, you've been here before. We understand who you are. You had this item in your cart, or you were looking at these 3 trucks.
Right.
Are you still interested in these 3 trucks? Engaging with them in a personalized manner. That's the future of the on-site experience. Historically, to achieve that, you needed a enterprise level, 100,000 a month type software to achieve that. Fast forward today, you can now have it out of the box type thing.
Right.
And so it's this thinking of how do we separate our visitors into these buckets of revenue and then focus on, we can't do everything. Yes, we can, we'll have automation, we'll start to do more, but where's the low hanging fruit today? Let's engage them and let's track that data, those reports, and improve upon that KPI. So I ask, maybe as you look at your visitor, like when it comes to conversion, it's all about taking time to look at the data. Most businesses up to today are so busy, we don't have time to do this stuff. Like you mentioned earlier, we've had but we haven't taken advantage of it.
Right.
Where in on your roadmap, or like internally, where are you today with, it takes buy-in from leadership, and then B, it takes knowledge, and it takes time. Where are you on those three, that other retailers in SaaS marketplaces may be able to relate to?
Allan, I'll kick it off and then hand off to you.
Mhm.
So buy-in from leadership, it's really, I'm the CEO. So the buck stops with me, but the consensus from my team, like Allan and Juliet and Heather and Chris, and we have 11 people on our core team. We also have a very world-class board of directors. We have 38 other stakeholders that are invested in TTT and provide service to TTT. So there's no shortage of ideas and push and support. So top-down support is there. The willingness to do it. It's about driving the urgency around the problem. So we all, as business owners, especially startup teams, the urgency drives the priority. And we know now, there's a sense of urgency, really just to improve and grow faster with less friction, better. And so using tools like Justuno, using tools like Klaviyo, using other killer software that's coming out, that we can plug in and really to enhance that user experience. We want to be great. We want to be great. We want to continue growing, doubling sales year over year. And we don't want to have, we don't really need or want to employ hundreds of people in a call center someplace. We have this idea that we always want to be virtual, distributed, in the cloud, and working remote, right? When we feel like we can do that, but we can't do it without tools like yours. So, Allan?
Yeah, no, I think for us, as John mentioned, that is, really no pushback at all from leadership. I think, they understand and they trust, our team to do that. I think where I would say where right now, and this is with the addition of, our new CMO, Chris Doyle, we had a very mix of traditional marketers, and digital. And it took us a little bit to understand our audience and kind of really to understand that workflow. Because if you kind of take a look at, we talk about conversions, there are so many different conversion levels on our platform, because off of every, I would say service or ancillary service that we provide, like insurance or financing and delivery, TTT, whenever we convert any of those, we make a percentage. So we make revenue off of those. So there's a lot of different workflows that we've had to understand from our buyers coming in, whether they're a new owner operator, a large fleet, a large enterprise buyer like a grocery outlet or a Coca-Cola. They all have different, I guess, I would say mindset, right? Different behaviors. So now that we've understood those, it's really okay. We've separated our buyer profiles. Now we just need to really create more of a granular level, roadmap in terms of how we're going to engage those different types of audience. Now that we've gathered all that data, yeah. So.
Hearing that right there is a golden nugget. When a visitor arrives on your site, it's so easy to have basic quizzes, and visitors appreciate this, where you qualify them when they land on the site. Welcome. would you identify as a single owner operator? Are you a small shop or like, a full enterprise suite, visual of like who they are when they click it?
Mm-hmm.
Then you get down to the next, like, what can we do? What are you here for, to buy or sell? Or, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe next be like, are you interested in financing this? Or are you, if they click the buy, then you can qualify another revenue channel for you is the financing.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like capturing these profile data points that are then saved and then passed over to, did you mention Klaviyo, I think?
Yeah.
Pass over to Klaviyo so your next email campaign covers those. That's how you reduce bounce rate, increase page
Mm-hmm.
views, and collect that first and zero party data. That's something that I on your site I see is not being done, but that'd be a baseline recommendation that you could do out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other thing here, Erik, I think would be interesting is to for us, the three of us, to get back together 6 months from now after we've implemented the new version that we just got from Justuno. And I'm not sure if 6 months is long enough, but I think it might be because we're really, really focused on it. And now that we're on your podcast, I'm sure we'll be spoiled now. And you'll hold our hands through the process, because I think that it could be a true best practice and a great success story for both of us to, we can go back to your audience and tell a great story. You can certainly use TTT as a proof of concept in an industry that definitely needs that's ripe for the picking, I would say, for Justuno.
I just got the navigation, the TTT 360, and then STTT, the stream. I just got that, by the way.
All right.
You will, part of what it is when it comes to email marketing, it sounds like your traditional marketing sounds like it's very, I mean, if you're doing 4X, there's some great successes happening right now.
Well, understand there was, coming out of, any of us were happy to survive COVID, right? As far as the business. So coming out of that really took about a year, 2 years to come out of that properly. Take a step back, do some product work, rebuild the team. And that's another thing too. What makes us unique is that we haven't turned anybody over, our core team, in 4 years. We've had the same core team for 4 years. And that's that. So I think there's a lot to be said for stability of your team. But that 4X didn't happen overnight. It took 6 years of, no Xing to get to the 4X.
Yeah.
Right. Very, very common. We're not complaining. It's very common. We don't feel special. It happens. And we're very appreciative that we're now in this growth mode, when a lot of companies like ours, they don't. They flatline or go out. So we've made it. We feel like we're going to be profitable this year. And for a software company, we pride ourselves being a software related service, a SaaS based platform. But to be profitable at this stage is, we feel fortunate because now we're self-funding our growth.
Rolling back into the company, back into the product,
Yes.
back into the experience.
Yeah.
Having grown a retail business in my past at 300+%, grew to 20 million in 5 years. One thing that I can attest to is that when you're growing at that high of a clip, it's easy to not look for quick 1% wins.
Yeah.
Like, oh, why do I care if I've got to churn, if my sales conversion rate isn't what it should be here? We're growing so fast over here. I'm just trying to keep up with operations to fulfill that 300%.
Yeah.
But, that growth, it only gets harder, and making sure you're getting the foundation of that customer base, the opportunity to retarget those customers in the future is critical. Collecting all that data today for people who don't buy, and then also looking internally to your conversion is only going to make you healthier, stronger, and more valuable when you're ready to sell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're there, Erik. No doubt.
The couple final thoughts and notes for questions is, one comment is what we talked about, like what can you set up and check back in 6 months.
Yeah.
What we're really working to do is figure out what that playbook is. What are the four top flows you need to have on your website, just as you have with Klaviyo. And, it's lead capture from the top, and then you get into sales conversion and figuring out which are those cart abandonment-esque flows for your on-site experience that you wanna to have. With email marketing, you have welcome Siri flows, and then you have sales flows, and translating that and trying to figure out, working with your team, how does that relate to your website, and what automations can we put in place for that? And yeah, I would love to work with your team. It sounds like you have a great team in place. And so that's exciting.
Yes.
And, I already forgot what my other point was. So
we'll save it for next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But congratulations. And thanks for coming on. I really appreciate, there's nothing more valuable than hearing the reality of what's happening with businesses and where the focus is. And, the leadership buy-in is the biggest driver for success. So that is, Allan, you've got your job has been made so much easier that John and leadership are behind you. And you mentioned 11 other team members. The other pitfall I recognize and see is that conflicting internal departmental goals. If you have an email marketing team that only cares about growing the email list, well, you can have a very aggressive lead capture campaign, but it may affect your sales conversion. And so it's finding that best practices balance of implementing. That's something we've seen.
Yeah, good point. I think that I was going to say the founders, when we put this together, first of all, we're not, we weren't fresh off campus. We're a bunch of old guys that have done this before, and gals. First of all, everyone on the core team is an owner. Everyone has equity in the company. They're earning or have earned. And we work 100% on revenue share. So we don't have base pays. Allan, everyone takes a percentage of revenue. And we're happy to pay out big numbers. And whatever those numbers amount to once we start to grow, certainly the people have earned it. And as long as we can still make money, we want people to make as untapped earnings. So it's a very unique organizational structure that we created to eliminate some of those, those internal struggles or friction points. We nipped it in the bud when we first designed the organization from a cultural standpoint. And again, we put the theory and the thesis into practice, and it seems to be working, where we don't have a lot of the same issues that other startup companies have. I also think that there's benefit not taking, not to knock, venture capital, but we self-funded this. It was started off with friends and family. I wrote a big check to start it. We've had other big checks in the beginning that came in, and fundraising has never been the issue. And the other thing I would say to the startup community that's listening now, it's really important that you take money from people that they've bought into your vision, and also your timing, and are investing money that if they lost today, it wouldn't wreck their life. So I think we did a good job, building the infrastructure and the support, and it makes it easier when we start to scale now, because we don't have that debt. We don't have the legacy financial debt. We have very little technical debt. You don't have cultural debt, right? Does that make sense? Yeah.
Oh, fantastic story. Love
Yeah.
it. I mean, you're speaking to a 14-year self-funded SaaS founder as well, with
Yeah.
teammates that have been with us for 10 plus years.
It's hard. Listen, it's hard. It's some days you think you're going bankrupt, and what did I just do? I just wrecked my life. But at the end, where we are right now, when we start to make money, you start to see the flow, and you start to, see successes, and you got Allan just killing it, and other teammates crushing it. It's so satisfying. The money is kind of the side benefit, and it's important. Don't get me wrong. That's how we keep scoring business. But the having the thesis play out and seeing it actually turn into something, even as small as the 10-to-1 buyer to seller ratio I was talking about earlier, where we thought it was pie in the sky. We didn't know if we'd ever reach it, and here we are 6 years later, and it's like happening automatically. It's crazy how things play out.
Well, that 10-to-1, like, how do we get those 10 visitors? Focus on that conversion rate of,
Yeah.
of those. It's all about sustainable growth. And you, as a self-funded company, you're forced to be resourceful, and you're forced to focus on improving every aspect of your business on every day. And if you can achieve that and succeed, you're going to be healthy, healthier than your competitors that are just dumping money on problems and not really potentially solving them.
Yeah.
And so I love hearing that. So congratulations.
Thanks, Erik.
Moving forward, I'm, how, and this goes in line with self-funded. How do you build a sustainable business? For us, it's all about getting back to being a product-led growth company.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about understanding what we should be building.
Yeah.
6 months from now, we need your team to be able to log in and have a clear view of what is active, what the success is, what the KPIs of success of your business.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to voluntarily have you join our customer advisory board.
Oh, you got
it. Put you on the spot. I'd love to
happy to do it. Happy to do it.
Our goal, our success is your success.
Sure.
And your success is similar to other retailers. Everyone's trying to figure this next stage out.
Yeah.
And we want to be there to provide that platform to achieve that success. So with that, everyone's probably got to get back to work. So thank you. Thank you to the listeners. Thank you to both John and Allan from tractortrailer.com. Any last notes for the listeners? I know you have a podcast. Where can our listeners find more information about?
Yeah, simple. Just go to tractortrailer.com, and you'll find everything that you're looking for there. And we're here to talk with you on behalf of Justuno. We're on LinkedIn, pretty easy to hook up there. And myself and Allan. So you can find all of our contact information on our website. If you just go to leadership team, where the people are, just click on our LinkedIn. We'll get back to you. It's one of the things we love about our team is that we have a no a-hole rule, and everybody is at your service. And it's pretty remarkable how generous our team is helping others that are trying to figure things out. So, yeah, but looking forward to it, Erik. I'm looking forward to serving on your advisory board, and also looking forward to really, being that use case for you to test out any new products that you have. The other thing too, I would say is not just our employees, our team, when we show up to work and sign in to see how well we're doing, but also our sellers. We want them to be able to click into their dashboard and kind of manage their business on our platform, not dissimilar to Amazon, not dissimilar to some of the other major platform resellers. We want to offer that level of service to our sellers and our buyers. So that's something we need to work on.
These are big ticket items. You know, we're talking
Yes.
about a lot of money.
Yes.
And you're taking it very serious.
Yes.
And you have a team behind it. You know, time is everything, and it's all about being responsive. You know, yesterday at 8:45 a.m., John sent me a LinkedIn message. Today is Thursday at noon, and we've just completed our podcast recording.
Right. And I just got invited to your customer advisory board.
You know, fast action. Let's move. Time is now. So great. Well, thank you for listening, everyone. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Cool.
Special thanks to my guests.
All
Take
right.
care.
See you. Bye.
Thank you.